Man, I don't fucking know about you, but for me, I'm tired of trying to figure out if my horse is gonna gas out or not. Because you go online, you see, oh, you hit 601 stam, 301 guts for CM3. What if my stam's a bit lower? What if my guts is a bit lower? What if one's higher and one's lower? Will they gas out? Will they always gas out? What are the odds on that shit? Rushed or not? I don't fucking know. But let me tell you how to calc it, because just relying on those heuristics isn't gonna help you make a horse that won't gas out consistently, because you don't know how the numbers actually work. That's why we got this calculator here. You might have seen the Umulator before, and you could have been like, oh, I'll just test my stamina on this. But Umulator's got two problems. First off, it doesn't give you statistics. You don't see how many lengths you lose on average from gassing out. You don't see how often you gas out on average. And more importantly, it doesn't even sim the race properly. Like, it's good for comparing to Umas sometimes, but it doesn't simulate skills not proccing. So especially for a long race where you're depending on like 2 gold skills to see if you actually gas out, that could be a big issue, because it'll tell you they always trigger when they don't, and you'll think you're fine when you're not. So if we go over here though, this app simulates everything. Shout out to my goat Kachi. I'll link the site in the description and you can use it just fine. I'm gonna plug in my guts vodka, because if you just look at this shit, you're like 421 stam, 534 guts with standard distance. How the fuck do I evaluate that? That's what I thought too, bruh. So let's put this shit in and see how she does. 421 stam, 922 power, and then for guts and wit, we got 534. And then we go set the strategy. She's going to be a late surger. ASA, that's our aptitudes, with good condition, because that's what it's going to be in the finals, so that's what I care about. Her popularity in general has been around 6 from what I've seen, which is relevant, because she does have long shot. And then, yeah, gate number random. Set the course to Tokyo, Turf, 1600, because that's the course that the CM's going to be. Surface condition, yielding, which is good in international. The terms translate weird from Japanese, but this is what you want to set it to for CM3. 9 runners. We go to unique skill. We're going to go find vodka at the bottom. She has level 4 cut and drive. Don't worry about this shit. We're going to go to passive. For passive, she got long shot and standard distance. So we're going to go long shot and standard distance. Then we're going to go over to, we don't have any recovery skills. We go to speed. We got triumphant pulse. Mile straightaways and late surger straightaways, both double circle. So we're going to take pulse. We're going to go mile straightaways and late surger straightaways. And then now we're going to go to our acceleration skills, which are let's pump some iron on your left and furious feet. Acceleration, let's pump some iron on your left and furious feet. All right, cool. We're fucking good now, dog. So what we're going to do is emulate 100 races with these default settings. Don't worry about this shit for now. If you want to test against debuffs, you can actually do that. You can turn all that shit on from this menu here. But we're going to start the emulation. And so what we see here is that 93% of the time she hits her max spurt. And you might be wondering, what the fuck does that mean? So Umas, if they don't have enough stam before the acceleration zone, they will decide to delay their spurt, which is real fucking bad, because that means they accelerate later than normal. And so then you're inherently behind. You don't want that shit to happen fucking ever. So max spurt rate just says, do you start spurting at the start of the final leg over here? You want that to be as high as possible. If this number is below 90%, something's fucking wrong. And stamina survival rate's a bit more complicated. So essentially, the spurt algorithm's kind of fucked up. And the last 60 meters aren't actually part of the calculation. And so what happens because of that is that your Uma can still gas out even if she thinks she has a max spurt, because she'll be like, oh shit, I got enough to cover this whole distance. But then she gets to 60 and is like, I didn't account for the last 60 meters. I'm fucked. I'm dying. And just to back this up, this is indeed what Kachi, the creator of the sim, has said. Shout out Kachi. That's my goat. Making this shit crazy. And we can go into more details than just does she hit max spurt and does she survive on stamina, because 93% max spurt rate is fine. That means that she only has a delayed spurt 7% of the time, which is obviously not optimal, but we take those. Stamina survival rate, though, is a bit more concerning, because we know that she's losing some distance because of that, but how much? So what this median distance thing here is, it says, at which point in the last 60 meters, on average, where she runs out of stam, does she run out? And so this says that she, on average, runs out of stam 8 meters before the end, which isn't that big of a deal. And we can see the time loss here. On average, we are losing 0.07 of a second on our max time. So it's not a big deal. I don't give a fuck about this shit right here. That's completely fine. But you want to look at those numbers. You want to see if it's something like she's gassing out 40 meters from the end. That's a bigger deal. But ultimately, though, you got to compare the times between your Umas and see how much time am I losing if I run the one that has less stam. What are my average times as well? Compare all that shit and then do some sims, of course. But ultimately, if your max spurt rate is too low, you're fucked because you're going to gas out and not get your full spurt. If your stamina survival rate's too low, you're not necessarily fucked, but you want to check on average how much time you're losing and ask yourself, am I okay with that? I don't know if I'm okay with this. I might have to do another vodka run to see if that works out. But ultimately, I got the information right here. And was that hard at all? Fuck no. You just plug your skills in, and it does all the math for you and shows you all the numbers. And now that you know what the numbers mean, you can even see the stam chart over here. Now that you know what all the numbers mean, you're fucking good, dog. Have fun. Do some fucking math. Build your Umas. Don't fucking gas out, and don't listen to anyone who tells you there's a magic stam number when you can just do the goddamn math yourself. See ya.